Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're working on my terminal emulator. His name is Termi. We're a couple weeks in now, and we have something that's like, passable as a command line. So, we can say like git log, and we have like, something that kind of works, right? Like we can like use the arrow keys to scroll up and down. We can go left and right. We have like colors. And type clear. What else? I mean, that's like pretty much it. You can like type ls. You get like some code stuff running, right? So bash is running. We have some stuff. This is clearly not quite right. The alignment in here is like kind of fucked up. But we're getting somewhere. And what we want to look at today is improving read line support. So how do I say this? So when I type a lot of stuff in bash, it's doing this thing where it's like extending off the end of the line, replacing what we wrote with something else. Okay. Just so like, it's like handling input for a line, read a line. Great. Right. And so what we were struggling with yesterday was if I resize this terminal window, if I look at like what the output from bash is, this is like what bash is sending us when we resize. And it's pretty clearly saying every time I notice a screen resize, every time you tell me that you've resized, I'm going to try to clear this line by sending a carriage return, going to the beginning of the line, setting a bunch of spaces that will like clear out everything in the line, right? It will fill it with spaces. Everything will look like it's gone. And then we go back to the beginning. We write this like the prompt line again. But what this does is it makes our scroll back look really fucked, right? Because every time we like change the size of the window, all of the like stuff in our scroll back is still there, and then bash goes like, oh, but I want to like clear the line, and if I like make the window smaller, then as I go up and down, like the thing that is currently on screen, kind of like we need to make sure that how do I say this? When I was expanding the window before, like all of that stuff, all of this garbage up here was like leaking back onto the screen and looking kind of weird. And so I suspect that if bash knew how to move the cursor more effectively so that it didn't have to do this bullshit of like carriage return spaces, right? If it could just say, hey, go back to this cursor position and render the prompt line there. Like maybe that would behave more reasonably. And we know from like previous experimentation that like in tmux, bash doesn't do what it's doing for us right here. Like for example, if I type a long line here, it wraps around to the next line like you would expect. But if I do that in my terminal emulator, bash decides that he wants to extend off the right side, probably because he doesn't have support for something. And so what I did was I cloned the bash source code to try to take a look to see if we could find something reasonable. And I eventually tracked my way into these two files. So terminal.c seems to be like initializing variables that are specific to like this terminal. And specifically, what's interesting here is like these are a lot of like term cap capabilities that it expects to use. So if we look for one like, hey, do you ever try to go forward a character? This uses the term cap capability nd. And if we go into our like term info manual page and we search for nd, not that nd, it's lowercase. This is a cursor right movement, right? And if we look for like usage of this guy, we can see like, hey, if this is defined, I'm going to do this behavior. Otherwise, I'm going to inject like a carriage return and do something else, right? And so we can kind of assume that these capabilities are like the desired capabilities. That's what I would assume, right? I would assume that it's not going like, well, if this exists, I won't use it because I don't give a shit because it's not useful. I think in every case where it could use this capability, it results in like better behavior by bash's definition of better or readline's definition of better. And so I think that if we just start going through and we start implementing these one by one, by the end of it, we should have something that's like better. That's kind of like what I assume. Maybe that's not true, but we'll find out. And so I think that what I want to do is just kind of like one by one, walk these guys add them to our capabilities, implement something if it's missing, and if it's not, great, easy. And so I think that's what we want to do. So I guess we start at the top. So this is whatever the fuck @7 is. So we can look for white space in term caps, and I don't really want to have to keep this open all the time, so maybe what I'll do is I'll just copy paste this massive fucking list into this other window, and we can just kind of let's see, let's try to make this like pre-formatted so that we can just start moving, so I don't have to remember them. So let's see, each of these is going to turn into a timestamp of some sort and a to-do of some sort, and then delete. Okay. And then we can just do 29 at Q. Boom. Boom. Okay. And now we can just go through them one by one. Although this is kind of suboptimal, because as we get farther down the list, it won't be clear anymore what the fuck, like, you know, this stuff will like leak off screen, which kind of sucks. So we might have to duplicate this window later, but that's fine. Okay, so let's start with closing this guy and looking at what the fuck is an @7. So I kind of want probably a vertical split or a horizontal split, and then I want to look for man term info and look for white space @7. So this is the key that we send on end. And we probably also want, oh my god, please, why is this not resizing? There we go. Something here is fucking weird. I don't understand what's happening. Man term info @7. Okay, that looks better. And then we can look at, well, what does like X term do? So we can say info comp X term, and we can look for their key K end. And so they're sending escape OF. So I don't know. Okay, so there's a few things to think about here. One is we've already like established in the last stream, or maybe the stream before, that there are like two different input modes. One of them is like application mode, and one of them is like ANSI mode. So I guess we should see, okay, in ANSI mode, what are we supposed to send? This is probably the application mode one, because so an example here is that they have one that's like key cursor down by 1, and it sends escape OB. And we found that there was this like decum cursor keys mode, and let's see if we still have the link here. We found in this page, when cursor keys mode is on, these like move down, changes from like this code to this code. And so I'm wondering now if there's something similar about that with like the end key. I don't really know. So what we should do, maybe, let's try going into like a real terminal emulator that's not mine. And maybe we can do something like run the program script to like record key presses that the terminal is seeing. And we can say, hey, I want to see the inputs to in input.log. And I'm just going to type home and end, and then exit. And then we can kind of see what console is sending in that case. So we can look at this guy, and we can look at, haha! Yes, that does look, that's interesting. Okay, so we see the exit code here, and then we see open brace F and open brace H. So we're probably in the same scenario where the end key and the home key are changing behavior based off of what like mode we're in. And we can see if it's like the same mode or if something else is triggering it. So I wonder if we can find, we look for the string like bracket F. No. Okay. We could do something like script-i input.log, and we could try echoing cursor keys mode. Which I think is this string here. So we could say like, hey, could you set cursor keys mode. And then when I type left and right, I should expect to see the like escape with O's, not open braces. And then if I type home and end, I wonder if I see the same thing. Okay. Fuck. Did I not run script? I think I didn't. Script-i input log. So we are echoing this thing again. And we need the backslash here. Okay. And then, now I say left, right, I expect to see OD and OC, and then I type home end, and then I type exit. Okay. So, I see OD, OC, OH, and OF. So that's an indication that we should, depending on the mode, switch what command we're sending for home and end, just like we are for left and right. Let's just double check that one more time. So we're going to say, enter into deca mode with this like fucked up command, right? Then maybe I'll say like ASDF just so that we have like something like a sentinel value to look at. Left, 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 right, 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 home, end. And then we're going to reset that mode. So we're going to say echo-e with an L at the end to say reset. And then we're going to say ASDF again for a sentinel value. Left, 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 right, 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 home, end, exit. Okay. And we can just be sure now, if we look for the string ASDF in this hex dump, which it would be nice if this was like a little bigger. There we go. So ASDF, left, 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 right, open braces, right, 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 open braces, home, end. And then somewhere else we should see okay, this is the hold on, what's happening here? ASDF, where's the other oh, we didn't do ASDF last time. Something about this doesn't seem right. I'm going to try this test again. Because I'm not really convinced it was right. So here we're echoing with... no, before we do anything, ASDF, ASDF. Home, end, left, 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 right, 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 right. Okay, now we turn on this mode. ASDF, ASDF, home, end, left, 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 right, 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 right. And then we turn it off. ASDF, ASDF, home, and left, 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 right, 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 right. Okay, if that doesn't give me what I want, then it's over. So first ASDF, ASDF, home, and left, 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 right, 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 right. Everything is open braces. Then we turn on deca mode. Home, end now have O's, great. Then we turn off deca mode, home, end have braces again. Okay, I'm like very confident at this point that that behavior is the same. So, all of that to say, let's start by adding home and end support. Because now we kind of know already that we were trying to do end, but we now know that we can do home as well. So we can look at, let's see. In the GUI code, probably we're just not handling home and end right now at all. So let's see if there's definitions for those. Home and end, great. And so we can just do the same thing that we were doing here before, and we're saying like, hey, if you get like a GUI code for arrow right and it's pressed, you propagate that on as like a terminal input. So now we say this is gonna be terminal input home. And I wonder, we could maybe get fucking crazy here. I don't know how like crazy Rust macros get, but this is looking pretty well defined. I wonder if we could do something like macro rules, like bind. I don't know where the exclamation point goes here. I always forget. It's either here or it's like here. I think it's probably here. No, here. We'll see. And so we can say, hey, I'm going to take in some sort of like string. I think we can call it like a identifier. I think that's right. So we can say like key is an ident, I think. I'm not really sure again. And then we'll just like, if I just copy paste this whole thing, like, does that work? So here we're going to say key and terminal input key. Like, I don't really know if that's fine. But, you know, maybe it is. So if we said, like, bind key arrow right, like, does that work? We'll delete this, like, home shit. Macros cannot expand to match arms. Fuck. That would have been cool. Macros cannot expand to match arms. Yeah, that's what I want. You cannot do that exactly. A macro cannot. The closest you could do is something like this. So they have Gen 1, Gen 2. Ah, so I can have the left side generated by a macro and the right side. So I could do something like bind key source. Key goes to this, maybe, and bind key dest. Dest like this, and do whatever was on the right side, so. Which, you know, I guess we can live with. That's better than nothing. Better than nothing, for sure. Still not great. Okay, so you could do bind key source, bind key dest. Trailing semicolon in macro used in expression position. Remove the thing. Does it go here? Is there supposed to... Yeah, it's this. And this guy doesn't want... Oh, here maybe I have to put like extra braces around him so I can put semicolon. Cannot you find value terminal emulator in the scope? Man, the macros in Rust are like, they're so much better than C macros because you can't just like blindly do stuff. But man, I wish I could blindly do stuff here. At this point, there's like almost no point in it being a macro at all. Fine. Can we even do like key like this? And then maybe we'll leave this part the way it was. And then I can't fucking do key colon in macros unless maybe if I make it like an expression I can. Arbitrary expressions aren't allowed in patterns. Path type not ident. There we go. Jeez, what a pain. But, like, is that even worth it? Probably not, right? Because, like, this isn't really that much more compact. And now we're abstracting. Yeah, it's not worth it. Not worth it. We'll just go back to the way it was before. I'm surprised you can even put a macro in the match arm. Yeah, I didn't really think it was going to work, but I wanted to give it a shot. Okay, so we'll just go back. We'll go back to the way it was. This is fine. A little more verbose, but, you know, not hurting anyone, I guess. So this is a home, and an end. Okay, which means that we have to add the like home and end definitions. Can't you just check for press separately and match on key? Oh, like externally? Like if every single one of these guys is checking for press, check for pressed. So you could do like what? Like event key pressed true. And then say key here, ... And then do like another match inside here. Yeah. I don't know if I like that any better. Because we already have like, I guess we could like just extend this if ladder. I don't know. It's fine. We'll just keep doing it this way for now. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm getting too nitpicky. This is fine. So let's add home and end, which we know are F and E, if I remember correctly, from this script test. H and F. H and F. H is home, F is end. F for fend, of course. Okay, so home and end. And we have the same shit where it depends on deco mode. but in home, we are looking at home and end. Okay. So now if I run my terminal emulator, I should be able to type some shit, type home and end, and jump to the beginning and end of the line. You guys might not be able to see that because it's so fucking small. Did I bind control plus and control minus? I don't remember doing that. But it's working. That's pretty fun. I guess that's like maybe built into eGUI. No, I'm confused. Oh, maybe that's like a bind in eGUI to change the font size, and that's like, or like the whole UI size, and that's probably something that we would actually want to disable, because that's kind of sketch as fuck. Sorry, but what was I trying to say? I was trying to say I typed some stuff, I go home, and that's working now. Great. It looks like some of the font sizes don't calculate correctly as well. The cursor's like kind of jumping around to the wrong spot, but it's fine, whatever. And then we just need to define those things so that readline can find them. So we can go to our term.me terminal info thing, and we can say at 7 is kEnd in the new way of saying it. So we can say kEnd is equal to escape OF, and K, it's probably like, we can look for OF in this guy. It's, oh, we want OH for home. OH. So that's K home for OH. So it's K home. OH. Cool. So now I think that when we run this, we should get those keys. I wonder if it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to like test these things manually. So like, can we say something like, man term cap, man, well, what was readline doing? Let's go to the bash source code and look for terminal C. And how does he test these guys? Where, oh, these are in a list. So probably we're looking for usage of TC strings. And so then they say, hey, for each string, let's check their value in TC getStir. This is the thing. Okay. T getStir. Which comes from this. Okay. Okay. So we can do something like T getStir, and we're looking for at 7, and the other one was K home, which is KH. Okay, so K home and KH. Okay. What else are we doing here? We're trying to man T getStir. What is, like, how do I use this guy? We have the stir and the area to export to. So we can say, well, T getStir. How does this thing work? T getStir returns the string entry for ID or 0 if it is not available. T puts to output the returned string. The area parameter is used as follows. It's assumed to be the address of a pointer to a buffer managed by the calling application. However, it checks if it's not null. And also that the resulting buffer pointer is not null. If either checks for areas, the area parameter is not ignored. Oh, so I can just say null here, probably. And then we can say the return value itself is an address in the terminal description which is loaded into memory. If the check succeeds, encrypts copies the return value to buffer. But if it's not that, if it doesn't exceed, then I guess it's probably like allocating. I don't know if we need to like free it or whatever, but I don't care because I'm being lazy. So say kEnd is equal to this, and const ** k home is equal to this, and then we can say printf kEnd is this string, and k home is the string. And now we can test if read line will get the right thing. If we assume something. Okay, so here, we probably have to do like L curses or something, which doesn't exist. We have to like include the right thing. So this is going to be like a Nix environment bullshit. So we probably need like N curses here. And then probably, then that just all kind of works. Probably. I don't fucking know. GCC. Okay, and then we need like L and curses. Yeah, okay, test. Okay, so right now those things are null. Fuck. That's not what I expected. Not what I expected at all. Okay, so let's look at the read line code again, I guess. No, sorry, it's terminal.c. That's where this is. How are they using these guys? TC strings. And they just run TC get start, but they do have a buffer here. So buffer here is... Oh, they just assign it to null, and then they pass it in. Oh, okay, so we can do something like... something like let car star buff equals null, and then they do and buff or something. Does that change the behavior? No. Term info or info comp. Like kend, this exists. Tmux is giving it a command to run. So why am I not getting the string back? Why? Maybe there needs to be something done to like put it into like term cap compatibility mode. Maybe. Man t get stir. Okay. Curses emulation of term cap. These routines are included as a conversion aid for programs that use the term cap library. Their parameters are the same, but the routines are emulated using the term info database. Thus, they can only be used to query the capabilities of entries which a term info entry has been compiled. Okay. The tGetEnt routine loads the entry for name. This differs from the term cap library. tGetStir returns the string entry for ID, or 0 if it is not available. Use tputs to output the returned string. The area parameter is okay, but it's null. So 0 if it is not available. Do I have to like load the term? Do I have to like do some form of like fucking initialization first? I don't understand. So maybe before get term capabilities is called, they're doing some sort of initialization. Let's see. RL get screen size. I don't see anything crazy unless maybe tGetEnt is important. Term buffer. Oh, maybe it is. It loads the entry for name. So we need to provide. Okay, so we need to do something like a tGetEnt and like xterm or something into somewhere. So we're saying like buff is equal to malloc 496. What's xmalloc? Doesn't exist. So they're probably just like doing some extra shit. Okay. car star terminal buff is equal to this, and then we say t get and into terminal buff with xterm or something. So maybe that will like initialize what we need it to. Maybe. We'll find out. There we go. Okay. So now we're loading xterm. Great. And so now what we want to do, is there like a defined way? I actually don't know how to get like environment variables in C. C environment variable. Because we should then be trying to extract it from the term environment variable. So we can say get env term, and we'll say car star terminal name is equal to this. Maybe we'll print the terminal name just to be sure. And then we can say terminal name here. Okay. gcc-o test. Terminal name, tmux256 color, and now that's not working anymore. But if we say term equals xterm, oh, because these are like fucking like weird, right. It said in this man page to use tputs to print it, which is reasonable because we're printing out strings that have escape codes that the terminal is like intercepting. So we have to like escape the escape, you know? So we can then, what is it? Is it man t get stir? So they're saying tput, use tput step with return string. Yeah. So how the fuck do you use tputs? You have the string, so kend, no, const car stir. So do we have to do like puts kend and then tputs kend, what's af count? Tputs. What the fuck is af count? Af. Hello? Here we go. So is the number of lines affected? So I guess 1. And then it takes like, I think it's at a function pointer that puts out one string, so put char. And then do we say puts new line like this? Is this how this works? No. God damn it. That's so annoying. God damn it. Okay, we'll dodge this whole problem by outputting the ASCII codes of each thing one by one. Which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. So you can say like printf this, then printf this, right? And then inside, we will just say for int I equals 0, I is less than the length of kend. This is going to, I don't know if this like, I can't remember if this only executes string length once or once per loop. Probably once per loop. So we want to do like let canned len is equal to strlen canned, right? And then we say canned len. And then you say printf %d comma, and this is, or maybe %d space. Sure. And then you can say like with 2 digits, and maybe we want it to be like hex. And so maybe we're like a 0x in front of it. And then we place send kend I. He doesn't like that because I didn't include string. Okay. Oh my god, and I typed let because I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. There we fucking go. There we go. So now we at least can like get some sort of indication if it's working correctly. And we probably want to pull this out into a function that's like what, void print escaped print thing print terminal string as hex or something. I don't fucking know, man. And we'll take in like the name, and then we'll take in the value. Yeah, sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. Print terminal string as hex. Print terminal string as hex, and we have k end, and k home, k home. Thank God. Okay. Really? What isn't like there? K end. Oh, because we're using k end here instead of val. And here we should be writing %s with name. And here would be right everywhere we have k end, we replace it with val. Okay. Test. There we go. Okay. So now if I cargo run and I run that test function, we do in fact, oops, we do get something. And probably, let's just double check here, if we go into our terminal info and we delete those entries with comments, I think we can do this. No, he doesn't like those. We'll just delete them. It's fine. Then we run this again. We should see that we get nothing back there. Test. Segmentation fault. Fuck me, man. That's pretty funny. I wonder where that seg fault's coming from. Oh, probably from the stir line, eh? We have to say if LOLYC, because like that's what the example was written in, and I don't really want to like spend time converting. So we say like if val is equal to null, we say, I guess it's if not equal to null, we do this stuff. We can maybe put that in like an else. And if it is equal to null, then we just print null. There we go. GCC, cargo run, test. There we go. Okay. So I think that's good indication that previously, readline would not find these things. And now if we go back into our terminal info and we say, hey, here are the home and end keys, run it again, increase the font size, test, we now have format strings. Perfect. So that covers, what does that cover? That covers @7 and KH. Okay, so we'll bring KH up here as well. And we call that done. We did something. Get status, maybe we format. What are we using for UI? Like in our terminal emulator here? This is using eGUI, a immediate GUI framework for Rust. Okay. What was I trying to do again? I forgot. Oh, we were trying to commit this. Get status. Get. We maybe run the linter. Just make sure we didn't do anything fucking stupid. Looks like it's fine. Get add -u. Get diff staged. That print line shouldn't be in here. Get reset -p. No. Maybe we back out the end curses too. Okay. Get diff stage now should only have stuff that's relevant. Cool. Git commit -m implement home and end keys. Okay. Next up, what the fuck is DC? Man. man term info. Look for DC. Delete 1 characters. Okay. I actually don't know if we support that right now in our terminal emulator. I know that when we get a backspace character, we go back 1, but I think we don't ever delete a character. So we're probably gonna have to implement that. Let's again look at what the fuck does xterm do. But first maybe we add dch dc, and here we're looking for dch. Okay. gcc-o test. Cool. And we can look at like term equals xterm test. Cool. And that should match up with info comp xterm. And if we look for dch, it's echo escape code parameter 1 parameter p. I don't know what this means. Delete 1 characters p star. What the fuck does p star mean in this? P star. Indicates that padding may vary in proportion to number of lines affected. Oh, God. Okay, and then these guys have like %p and %d. What the fuck does that mean? %p? What does it mean? Ith parameter? Okay. And what does %d mean then? %d. That's not what I'm looking like. Here's a bunch of %d's in here, and then I go down here and it says print eg %d is a special case. And the parameter mechanism uses a stack and special % codes to manipulate it. Typically, a sequence will push one of the parameters onto the stack and then print it in some format using, I guess, like printf formatting style, I guess. Other operations, okay, including %t, pop their operand from the stack. Jesus. Okay, so why would you do that? Why would you do it that way? So they're saying, oh, maybe they're trying to make sure that like, no, I don't get it. So it would be interesting to look at what delete character does. Maybe that'll give us a clue, right? We could maybe open up a normal terminal emulator, click backspace, and maybe assume that that issues a DCH. Maybe we can check the readline source code. So we can look at a terminal.c, which is where they set up all these bindings. We can look for wherever they assign that like DC thing, RL term DC, and we can look for who uses RL term DC. And it's probably here. So here they're trying to delete characters who delete cars only called in this function or in this file. And they do this if they call len diff, if possible and inexpensive to use terminal deletion. Oh, that's not helpful at all. That's not helpful at all. I don't really understand how you're supposed to use these. So they're saying this pushes a parameter onto the stack, and then we immediately pop it back out. Is there any other examples of maybe more aggressive pushing and popping? Term info stack push. I don't know. Okay. Parameterized strings. Push parameter 1, pop the stack as assigned decimal. Given arguments 13, 16, push parameter on the stack, pop, push, pop. I don't understand why you push it and pop it immediately. Like, why not just say, like, why not just use the parameter? I guess maybe if you want to like reuse the same parameter twice, I'm not understanding why they do it this way. But I guess you can see what Encryst is doing using tput. Oh, okay. This gives one of the first parameters, blah, blah, blah. The expression were this, it would have the same result. The absence of the %p mark is a quirk of Encrysts. The term info compiler recognizes either term info, which uses %p1 to mark parameters, or term cap, which relies upon convention for the parameters, which would be a legal term cap expression. Since TIC knows how to process a term cap expression, the string shown is close enough that there's no need to translate it further. Okay, so what is this guy's question even? How the fuck do I read this? See, this makes so much more sense to me. They're just saying like, hey, here are some parameters, fuck it. Okay, the U69 capabilities are an extension documented in Encryst's terminal database. Position report, position request. Checking against the last comment, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I still don't fully understand it. Term info stack. Can I just like... Term info %p. Term info, maybe parameters? Parameters. Term info source format. This does not look helpful. Parameters. Parameters. %p. God damn it. I mean, I understand, I feel like how to parse these things, right? They're saying like, hey, I'm going to push this thing out of the stack and then pop it back off immediately. What I'm not understanding is why the stack exists at all then. Unless there's like special parameters to like add two numbers or something, like then that would make sense. You could like kind of like encode like almost like a programming language in here. So let's maybe see what else is in here. So there's like print the thing as like printf. Push strlen pop. Arithmetic. Ah. Okay. So now it makes sense. So if you were like, hey, I have two parameters, I want to add them together, then you could like put the two things onto the stack, add them, and then pop that as like a display. But we're not doing that. We don't give a shit about that. Okay. So it makes sense. So makes sense. So which of these things, we're looking at the delete command. And so they're saying escape, push the first parameter, and then immediately pop it. So this is like how many characters to delete, I guess. And then use P, capital P, which is probably just a defined escape code here. A, B, C, D, F, G, no P here, but maybe if we look at ECMA 48, the specification for this thing, maybe we'll see it. control functions. So they probably have like delete character, which is how many characters to delete. Yeah, okay. So this is all making sense. This is making sense. So we have to add support for delete by parsing this code, then flag it in term info. Okay. So we could maybe look at our like ANSI parser, and you know, somewhere here he has all of these like different codes that he supports. So when we get to, if we see like a G, we do this. If we see a J, we do this. And so I guess we just add another state for P. At the end of this guy, we say, hey, we reset the parser, and we have maybe a single expected parameter. So this seems reasonable. So we say parse parameter as usize, and here it's invalid delete command. If it's not valid, we still reset the parser, we continue. Okay, push invalid. We say, hey, that wasn't valid. But if it is valid, then we say default value is 1, I think is what this said. Default parameter value 1. So if no parameters are given, we're going to push one character. And I don't think there's a match here. I think we're just going to push internal output delete, and we're going to say param unwrap or 1. So this is, we want you to delete, hey, terminal, we found a thing, please delete this many characters. Which means that we have to say, we have a delete thing, and this is going to delete n characters. Yeah, sure. And which means whoever parses this guy, deletes numcars, he has to like do that. Which means that our terminal buffer needs to support a delete function with numcars at a given cursor position. Right, we're going to go to like some XY position, we're going to delete that many characters. And we also probably have like format info that we're tracking. So like if there was like bold text, blue text, green text, whatever, we also have to like adjust that. So maybe we would also have to add a function to this that's like delete range. And I guess this guy will return how many characters he deleted. So we'll say maybe let removed, deleted, buff range. And here we will say, hey, could you please delete the stuff in deleted buff range? That seems reasonable, right? So we have like color tracking data that looks kind of like, you know, like 0 to 10 is blue, and like 10 to 15 is blue bold or something, right? And then we come in and we say, hey, we deleted the stuff between, you know, like, we delete the stuff between like 9 or 8 and 20, or like 8 and 13 or something, right? So blue bold, right? We delete the stuff, which means that after we should be in the state where it's like 0 to 8 is blue, and then like 8 to 10 is blue bold, right? Because like we deleted, like this whole area should still be blue bold, and we deleted characters 10, 11, 12, and 13, or 10, 11, 12 maybe. So now we only have like 32 to 15, something like that. I think that makes sense. So we need to add this like delete function to our terminal buffer who like holds the data. So I guess we just say delete you are yourself. Oops. And you take in a cursor pause. and a U size. Such a big raid party. Hey, thanks for the raid of 1. Appreciate it. Num cars is a U size. And okay, so what happens here? We need to like find cursor position buff. We need to find buffer position for cursor position, and then I guess just delete the n characters behind it. I think that makes sense. I don't know if we're supposed to handle wrapping here. Let's see. So the effect of DCH on the start or end of a selected area, the start end of a qualified area, or a tabulation stop in the shift part is not defined by this standard. Oh, interesting. So we get to choose behavior. We get to choose behavior here. So that probably means that in term info, there's probably like parameters that indicate if it wraps or not. Right? So we could look at term info. And can we look for like delete? No. I want to look for like, here we go. So this has like the cursor move 1 has wrapping. Can we look for like wrap here? Interesting. Only that DCH. Delete character key, delete 1 characters. Interesting. So it's undefined, but I don't really see anywhere where the term info defines the behavior, which means that like, what should we do? Like we could either stop at the end of the line, or we could wrap. Wrapping is like the easiest implementation because we can just like smoke characters. But I don't really know. Oh, man, a second raid. Hey, guys, what's up? Sabine, thanks for the raid of 40 viewers. What's up, you guys? Okay, so y'all are just tuning in. You were watching someone else do something. I don't really know what Sabine does. His name has OCaml in it. Were you guys doing some OCaml? But yeah, we're here. We're writing a terminal emulator in Rust. And what we're working on today is trying to fix like read line support. So, you know, you type in here, you like type your arrow keys, you type backspace, right? It like does stuff. And like the way that that's like handled by Bash depends on what your terminal emulator supports, right? So, in our terminal emulator, when I like resize a window, it's probably not runnable right now. We're in like a kind of like intermediate state, but like Bash will like spit out basically like a carriage return and a fuck ton of spaces to kind of like pad the line. And that's like resulting in like some like weird behavior when resizing. So what we want to do is we want to say like, okay, can you like actually just like move the cursor and clear the line like in like a normal way that's reasonable? Like instead of saying like space, carriage return, could you say like clear to end of line? Like I want that instruction from you. And so we're like working through this like massive list of capabilities that like readline is like asking for. He's asking for stuff like, what button do you press when you try to go home to the home of the row? What button do you press when you try to delete a character? And we're just trying to say like, okay, first of all, let's implement those features, right? Right now we're trying to implement deleting a character. And then also, can we look at like, let's tell you how we handle those things. So that's the story for today. If you hope you stick around, hope you're interested, but no offense taken if you are not. Okay, so where were we at? We know that we have to delete some characters. We were reading the ECMA spec for what's supposed to happen. And they say, if you hit the end of a selected area, start end of a qualified area, or a tabulation stop, it is not defined what should happen. So I don't see, maybe this end of starts of areas, I wonder if those are like the same as like edge of the monitor. Maybe it's not. Let's see. So you character editing mode, blah, blah, blah. The resulting gap is closed by shifting the contents of the adjacent character positions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so nothing in here says, maybe for now, we will just assume, we can assume that we will just delete characters around the edge of the line, right? Fuck it. It says it's not defined if I understand this line correctly. I wonder if we could also test this in some way in another terminal emulator. That seems reasonable. Like if I say in here, I can say in console, let's like look at his delete string, which is DCH, and it's open bracket E stuff P. Okay, so if I say like echo ASDF, and then I say escape, open bracket 3P, that should delete 3 characters. Fuck. That doesn't look right at all. Let's look at this again. DCH, escape, parameter 1, delete, print the parameter P. And delete 1 character is this guy. So why the fuck wasn't this working? If I say delete 3, like I don't understand why this isn't working. Does delete mean delete forwards? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. So we could do something like try to move the cursor back 1, which I think is like, let's go back by 3. I think it's D for back. Oh, good fucking call, dude. Good call. I see. Okay, so that's a good clue. So this guy says delete 3 to the right. So if I say, hey, I'm going to write the quick brown fox ... and then I go backwards by maybe like 10 characters, and then I try to delete 3 characters, I get the quick brr fox. Okay. Reasonable. Reasonable. I'm glad you asked that, because I would have been fucking, I would have got lost there for sure. I would have implemented like the complete wrong fucking thing. Okay. So that makes sense. And now let's try saying like the quick brown new line fox. Okay, and then we need to make sure that we move the cursor to the right spot. So instead of going, we want to go, maybe go up by 1. Maybe we can like, yeah, up by 1. So I think that's A for up. A for up. And then we will probably be on like the same line that we were on, the same position that we were on. So we will be like at this, I actually don't know. Let's just print some stuff there and see. The quit. And then we need to like go cursor down at the end as well. So we have to like say E1B so that, there we go. Okay. So you have the quit ASDF round fox. Okay. And so we just want to make sure that we're moving over to the right as well before we type this, so that it gets stuck at the end of the line. So you want to say escape, go right by like 4 or something. Okay. Now ASDF is at the end of the line. Maybe we want to go right even a little further. Okay, and then instead of typing ASDF, let's see what happens when we delete some characters. So we escape, and let's say we delete 4 characters. Maybe we delete 10 characters. Okay, so in this case, it's not deleting the new line. That's good information. And what happens if I like, make it so that it kind of overlaps? Even smaller. Yeah, it doesn't look like, even if we're hitting the edge of the terminal, there's no wrapping over new line. Okay. So first of all, let's rename this function from delete. Well, we'll fix me rename delete forwards. I don't want to handle this right now because I don't think that I'm in like a good state in code. So I think the rename won't work correctly and I don't want to deal with that right now. Okay. So first, we've kind of been like hand rolling the like conversion from cursor position to buffer position every time, where cursor position is like on screen, I might say like 1, 1, right? But the buffer position is going to be like depending on like the wrapping of the screen and stuff. So if I have like the text like ASDF/n, 1234/n, 5, 6, 7, 8/n. like my cursor position, if I'm at like 1, 1 is going to be here, but my buffer position is like linear in this buffer, right? So I'm going to be at a character like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something. So we've kind of been like hand rolling that every time. We probably want to split that into a function, almost certainly. So we can say like function cursor to buff pause, and we're going to take in the buffer, which is a bunch of U8s. We're going to be taking in the width of the terminal, which is going to be as a U size. And I think that's, oh, and probably the height of the terminal as well. And then we can just copy paste some of what we've done before. It's something like we calculate the range, we calculate like who goes in each line, right? So here, if we have like that same test, once ASDF, 1, 2, 3, 4, but let's say that we like wrap at 10 characters. So we do like something like this. This calc line ranges basically says like this is 0 to 3, this like ASDF, ignoring the \n. This is going to be like 4 to 10 or 4 to 14, and this is going to be 14 to 18 or whatever. This is like goes back in all history forever. Hey, another raid. Ejective Allison with the raid for 5. Thank you. What's up, you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we have these like line ranges, and then we need to convert them into the ranges that are visible on screen, right? Because this contains all scroll back. We only care about the stuff that's visible. Okay. Okay. And I swear I did this the other day. Ah, right. What we did yesterday when we were looking at like changing the window size is we like found the buffer position, but the buffer position might not exist, right? Say I have ASDF, we'll do the same test. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, or 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Say my cursor position, they say like, I want the cursor at like 6, 6, right? Cursor pause 6, 6. Like, that doesn't exist here, right? Like, that just is not, right? Because, like, 6, 6 is, like, down here. This is, like, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? The cursor's, like, here. And there's no data there. Like, the data is only, like, this far, right? So, maybe it makes sense for this guy to return, an option use size, right? He'll say, hey, if there is a buffer position, here it is. Otherwise, fuck it. Yeah, seems reasonable. So then we look at our visible line ranges, and we just look for the one that has our cursor position. So surely we need a cursor position in here. So visible line ranges, we can turn it into an iter, I guess, so that we can do skip I next, or maybe nth I. No, we don't even need to do that. We can just call get here. Get I. Yes, and that will return none if that line doesn't exist. And then we could say map. So this is going to be like a range for that line of buffer positions. And what we have like range.start plus x. Sorry, this should be cursor pause y. Cursor pause y. But if this is bigger than the end of the range, then we should we say it's none, I guess. Saying none here doesn't really seem reasonable either. We almost want to say like maybe return. No, we'll just say none. Fuck it, that's fine. So here we say what if this is too big. So if let candidate pause equal this, but if candidate pause is greater than range end, we return none, else some candidate pause. Okay. And this should be not map. Is it like, how do you do and then, I think, is the optional way to chain optionals together? Okay. Okay. I think that's right. And now we can go back down here, wherever the fuck we were in our terminal buffer code. And we were trying to delete forwards. So here we say, let some buff pause is equal to cursor to buff pause, given the cursor pause, and the buff. So self buff, cursor pause, self width, self height. Okay. Else, if there's no text at the cursor position, there's nothing to delete. So we just return. Blaze it. If there is something, we want to find like the end of that line. I want to go back to this console test and not inject a new line here. I wanted to see what happens. So say, I don't know if it's like stopping the delete early. Hold on. Let's get crazy here. So we're gonna resize the terminal down very, very short so that it automatically wraps. Let's delete all of this stuff. The quick brown fox. So he's wrapping after brown. So if we... What the fuck? This terminal emulator is checking if I hover over a color and then showing me the color? Who the fuck does that? Only in quotes? Oh no. That's so weird. What a weird feature. Who has ever needed that? That's so weird. I can maybe see that existing, but definitely not by default. That's wild. That's so funny. All right. Okay. So you have echo the quick brown fox. And so I want to see what happens if I go back. Does it do hex codes? What do you think? Like, no alpha? Maybe you put like this thing in front of it? Yeah, that's so funny. That's actually, okay, you know what? That's, you know, maybe that's kind of nice. I guess. It's still weird. Very, very strange. It's almost, it feels wrong to be in a terminal emulator, but like, fine, I guess whatever. It's just very weird, very weird. Okay, the quick brown fox. So let's now go back. I guess in this scenario, we have to go up by 1. So that's A. And then we type, like, then we have to, after we go up by 1, we have to go back down. But let's say we just type some D's in here. So we have the quid brown fox. Okay. So we go up by 1. We want to go right by, like, 5. A little more. 5, 7. So now the DD is right at the end of the line. And now let's try doing that delete thing. So let's say we delete 4 characters in this scenario. 4p. Okay, so this is telling us that whether or not the line wrapping is happening because of new lines in the data or because of wrapping by the terminal, in console at the very least, it doesn't wrap the delete. Which means here, we actually we want the cursor to buffer position, but we also kind of want the line range for that position as well. Right, you want to see where does this line that I'm in end? So you almost want something like, hey, here's where I am, but here's my range as well. And then here we just say range. And I think we have to put this in like this. Whoop. Why doesn't he like that? Oh, it's not, because I can't put dot dots here. It has to be a range usize. There we go. What are you using for the GUI, Tari? No, I'm using eGUI, an immediate mode GUI. Okay, so cargo check. He doesn't like that for some reason. He found, because this guy needs to be cloned. Slap a little clone on here. And format tracker doesn't have the delete range yet thing, so format tracker. Where is he? Here, we're just gonna say function delete range is mutable self, and we're just gonna say he takes in a range usize, and Unimplemented. What's Alacrity using? I actually don't know. I don't know. Hold on. We can check, but just give me a second. Give me a sec. Right, so this guy has to delete. He has to return the deleted range. And I guess we have found out that he might not do a deletion, so here you can return none. And down here we can say if let sum range is equal to deleted buff range. Format checker, delete range, range. Okay, so hopefully that all compiles now. Close. Close, 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 close. 634. This guy is going to say unimplemented here, so that we don't get mad. There we go, we compile. Okay. What's Alacrity using? That's a good question. I'm kind of curious now. So we can go to Alacrity and maybe look at its thing. I know that he's using winit to construct the window, gluten for OpenGL stuff, and if he's got gluten as a dependency, certainly he's just doing it by hand, right? He's probably just writing OpenGL shaders manually. Yeah, so here we have OpenGL shaders, and we can look for, we could even look for text.vertex.glsl. And so here he's like got a GLES2 renderer. And he's probably using him from somewhere. He's like a text renderer provider. Yeah, so he's certainly, yeah, he's just got text, yeah. Almost certainly just raw OpenGL. What a guy. I'm being a little lazier. Oh my god, the HE in the gutter popping your code out is so terrible. I turned that off or ditched the plugin so fast. Well, okay, yeah, I've had people complain about that before, and I keep meaning to fix it. I just haven't bothered. But it's only fucking annoying as a viewer, which is bad for if I'm trying to attract viewers to watch my stream. It's really fucking bad for it to be there. But because it only happens when I enter, I thought it only happened when I exited insert mode or something. It's only when I type, it goes away, and then when I press escape, it comes back. So, like, because it's tied to, like, an action on my end, I almost don't notice it. But I can see why it'd be fucking annoying. Okay, so this is the buffer pause and the line range. Why the fuck did my maze crash? That thing is very important. We need that. Otherwise, how else will people, you know, have something to look at? We need this over here. It's important. Okay. So now we have a buffer position, and we're trying to delete forwards by some amount of characters. So we'll say let delete range is equal to line buffer pause to buffer pause plus numcars. But we need to clamp it to the end of the line range. So we say delete range end is equal to line range end, or whichever is the smaller of the end of the line, wrapping being taken into account, or the existing range end. Okay. And then we can just say self buff delete removes and returns the element at position index. Is there like a does the vector API in Rust have like a delete many? It might. It also might not. Drain this range, removes the specified range from the vector in bulk. Yeah, that's probably what I'm looking for. Drain delete range. And I guess then I return the delete range. Okay. Can I pass this in as a reference? No, I have to put it in clone the range. Range is not implementing copy is kind of strange to me. Like, it seems to me like 2 U sizes is like trivially copyable, but I guess writing clone is like reasonable. And I guess you don't really know, the implementer of range doesn't really know how big the thing, like the range is a wrapper around another type, and maybe that type doesn't know when to copy. But I would think like if this inner type implements copy, then like range should as well. But fuck it, whatever. We can rename this to delete forwards now. And we can even write a little unit test for it. If we want to get crazy with it. Test, canvas, delete forwards. And maybe we'll say, that's fine. So we can insert some text. You know, we'll say, hey, we have 10 characters wide, 10 characters, 5 characters tall. That's our canvas size. And let's insert some data. So let response is equal to canvas. And he needs to be mutable. He is insert data, and we will insert at some cursor position, I guess the beginning of the world. And we're going to insert some data that's like, I don't know, we're going to say ASDF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a nice little test, right? Because we have 2 lines, 3 lines, 1 wrapped naturally, 1 wrapped unnaturally. And then we can say, let's delete canvas, delete forwards at, we want to delete at like, say, x equals 0, y equals 1. Okay, so that's going to be at the S in ASDF. And we want to delete 1 character. We can now check that the data is what we expect. So we can say assert equals that the canvas data is equal to ADF \n 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we always shove a \n on there. At the last line, it's just a side effect of some of our implementation. Run our test. He doesn't like that because canavs doesn't exist. Canvas does. He failed. So he failed because... okay, so here he did delete 1 character. Oh no, that's the right side. So on the left side, he thinks that no characters were deleted. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty surprising. What if I say delete 2 characters? This is like an off by 1 error. Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on. So left is what is supposed to be there. Can we fucking... God damn it. This is so frustrating. Print line. We're going to print this thing as a string. Canvas data visible. And we're going to parse this. Stood stir from UTF-8. God. I cannot parse what I'm looking at all. And this is not supposed to have brackets on it. Okay, so this is ASDF. Oh, interesting. Because I flipped my X and Y. I was trying to delete it X1, Y0, and I just deleted the wrong spot. Whoops. There we go. Much better. Okay, so we delete the S in ASDF, and now we want to see if we delete at the same point, but try to delete like 10 characters, we should only see to the end of the line deleted. So the A should stay there, but the D and F should leave, and we should be chilling. Boom. Okay, sick. And then I guess we should also check the response. So here we should assert EQ that the deleted range is equal to 1, 2, right? He deleted the S. So that was the old position 1 to 2. And then here, we should say that the deleted range was 1 to 3. We deleted D and F, so 2 characters. Okay, I think that's right. And so we need to let deleted range here. And I guess the deleted range is actually optional, so these should be sum and sum. And so now we should also say, we should also test deletion. Hold on, my dog is like pulling on my Ethernet cable. I actually hope that my stream's still up. That's good. One sec. Let me mute up. Yeah, sorry about that. My Ethernet cable is like wraps around like my entire house to get from one end of the room to the other, and it's not really like stapled down very well. So if she gets a little bit too excited down there, she can definitely like pull the wires around. But it looks like we're good. Stream still looks active. Everything is chill. I'll just push it back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we want to test deletion in case where nothing is deleted. That's something we want to do, but we also want to test the deletion around a wrapping with no new line. So we want to try like maybe like y1 now, x7. And if we delete 10 characters there, we should say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this should delete to the 0, I believe. Oh, that's kind of interesting though. And it should inject a new line. Because we still want to make sure that the line forward is still shown on the next line. That's interesting. So that almost certainly is not behaving correctly. And let's print out, let's make sure, I'm not sure if I got like the index right there, so I just want to double check. And this should be, that's fine, cargo test. Let's see what it bitches about. So here we have A, back to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool, but we forgot to inject the new line, and it should have deleted from 9 to 12. Does that seem reasonable to me? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 9 to 12 does seem right. Which means that we need to inject a new line. So that's kind of interesting. So I guess we can say if self buff delete delete self buff at the delete range end is equal to sum is not equal to some new line. This is only in the case where the delete range end is greater than the line range end. Okay, so if the delete range dot end is greater than line range end, and if there is some character, no, hold on. If self buff get line range dot end is equal to some backslash n is not equal to that. If it's equal to any other character, we need to insert a new line at that position. So we insert a backslash n at line range dot end. Yes, that seems reasonable. Then we clamp the delete range, everything's chilling. So swap these arguments, fine. Why NixOS, if I may ask? I like the idea of all of my stuff being like tracked in a Git repo. My whole operating system is tracked in a Git repo, and it has like branches for my different machines. So like when I like go to my laptop and I install something, it gets like automatically propagated to my desktop. If I like set up some configuration where I want some daemon running, if I change my swap configs, all of that is like now tracked in a way that it's like very clear and easy to track, which is kind of nice. I don't think I would recommend it, right? In the same way that I wouldn't recommend Vim, right? Like, I think that using Vim is sick, and I like using it. Same with Tmux. I think using Tmux is sick, and I like using it. But I would, if somebody was like, hey, should I use Tmux? And I'm like, yeah. Or I just tell them yes. Or like, hey, should I use Vim? And they're like, yes. And they try, and they just like tank their own productivity as a result. Like, I don't think that's like correct. I don't think I should do that. Right? And so it's one of those things where it's like, I would recommend it to me, but not necessarily to anyone else, if that makes sense. I think this has to be referenced here. Okay. And they're saying you can collapse this, which is true. And this, I thought I wasn't going to be able to. And does this, what happens on insert if it's out of range? Panics if index is greater than length. But it should never be the case because line range.end should be related to the buffer from the beginning. So I think this is fine. I think that's fine. Okay, so can I run that test again? Does that just like fix it? It might. Yeah, nice. Okay, so our tests are passing now. And now we just need to test that one last case where we want to try deleting something at like 5, 5, and 10. And we should get that the deleted range is none. We deleted nothing, and nothing changes. Nothing changes, nothing deleted. Very nice. Okay. I guess leaving these comments in is good. Test deletion clamped on wrap. Test deletion clamped on new line. Test normal deletion. Okay. And I guess, you know, hypothetically, these could all be separate tests, but I don't really give a fuck. That's, you know, it's fine. I'll just, you know, this test will live here forever and I'll never touch it again. It's fine. It's fine. Except for when I refactor something and I do need to touch it, but, you know, we'll ignore that. Okay, so now we need to implement, like, the format tracker stuff. That's a good take. People at work ask me why I stopped using VS Code and why I use Tmux, and it's like, because I got tired of having 5 to 10 editors opening all RAM, and I got tired of 100 tabs in my terminal. Yeah. And like, I would get the same question at work. People would see me do stuff, and they'd be like, how the fuck did you do that? I'd be like, yeah, Tmux, pretty great. Like, Vim, pretty great. But then I'm like, always like, what? Careful. Like, I wouldn't. If you're interested, that's a good sign. But like, you know, it's a pain in the ass. NixOS is one of those ones where it's like, I feel like if you don't have like a really good handle on like how programs are linked and run, you're going to get pissed off when you try to do something a little extra, right? Like if you like just download an exe, if you try to like run like a Godot executable or like an app image, like it just will never work. And you have to like take steps to make it work, and it's a pain. But when things work, they work well. You know, it's just one of those things. Delete range. Okay, so here. This guy is storing like a bunch of sequences of color info. Sorted, kind of, maybe. I don't know if they're actually sorted. They might not be. They are sorted, but they are sorted stupidly. Okay, so these guys are sorted by like, you know, he's going to say like, I have 0 to 10, and he's bold. And I'm going to have 10 to 20, 10 to 20, and he's red, right? And so if we delete a range in here, we just have to make sure we're handling those things correctly. So we can like iterate over. You also need to learn their language, which is specific to it. So hard to argue if it's worth it. Yeah, I haven't really got a good handle on, what do they call it? Is it Nix the language? I definitely don't have a good handle on it. I can like copy paste stuff around enough to like write something. I wonder if I can like etc Nix OS packages. We'll like just look at spiff. Right, like I can like copy stuff around to make a derivation like this, but it's not like I have like a good handle on like I still struggle with like even just like finding like what the fuck does build Rust package do, or like what the fuck is rec. You know, it's like I just get like a little lost sometimes, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Like luckily you can think, if you think of it as a configuration language instead of like a real programming language, then you don't have you can kind of skip a lot of learning, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to iterate over my color infos for info in mute color infos. And what am I going to do here? I'm going to say if ranges overlap, info.start, info.end, and my range. And does this take in like reference or what? He takes in range, so I have to clone this. If they don't overlap, I guess, then we skip. But if they do overlap, we've done some of this stuff before. Adjust existing format ranges. Adjust existing format range. And this is if range fully contains, range starts overlapping, range ends overlapping. And we can look at, so range fully contains is B is fully inside A. Okay. Okay. So what are we, where were we? We were in delete range. So if the range that I deleted, if the range I'm deleting fully contains info start to info.end, then I should delete this info. It's completely useless. So we can maybe say like, do let mute to delete is like a vector of indexes to delete. And I can say I'm going to iter mute enumerate here so that I get the index and the info. Okay. And here, if the range is fully contained, then I just delete it. Fuck you. To delete. Push I. I guess ranges overlap is not the only case that I'm ending stuff. It's any range that contains indexes larger than what I deleted. So if range or info start is less than the range end, is less than the range start. I'm not 100% on this. So we have like, here is the range I deleted over here, and say that like this is fully out. This is not fully out. So this needs to be if info end is less than range start or equal to, because technically if they align, they're not overlapping. So if this is the case, then I continue. Nothing to do on those. If the range is fully contained, we delete it. Great. I think this guy needs like ampersand on this or something. Maybe we can even say let info range is equal to info start to info end so that we can use it everywhere. So we can say here info range like this. Okay. A function with a similar name exists. Range fully contains. Oh, nice. The actual function is spelt conatins. If range fully conatins this thing, we delete it. Else if, what are my other range options? If A and B overlap like this, so that A is in the starts overlapping with B. So if range starts overlapping. So my range, the range that I deleted, is that correct? Range starts overlapping. I have to think about this. What do I do in this case? In this case, this section was deleted, so I just need to truncate B. Info.end is equal to range.start. Okay. Reasonable so far. Else if Else if we end overlapping, range and the info range, that means my start has to be adjusted to be the range end. But then we also have to delete everything between. So the info start actually equals the range start because we are deleting all of this space. And so else, and I guess the range info end is equal to where does it end? He ends in the same position he used to because he was not deleted, but subtracted by the amount of the stuff we deleted. So info end is subtracted by range.end minus range start. And then in the other case, we're completely past. We're not overlapping at all. So we can say assert ranges, range, where's the thing? Assert ranges overlap, range and info range. These should not be true in this case. And I guess we have to clone in each of these, I guess. And now we just decrement both. So we can say, maybe we say deletion size is equal to range start end minus range start. Okay. And here we say minus equals del size. And we say down here, both of these minus equals the delete size. And I think now all of our ranges are probably adjusted to be correct. I think. Oh, but we now have to delete the ones that are unimportant. So for I in to delete dot into iter dot reverse, because we want to delete them in backwards order so that the deleting indexes doesn't affect like future indexes to delete. We just say self buff delete remove self color info delete remove I. Okay. I'm not 100% on this, but it's easy to test. The test is easier to write than the function for sure. So we can say test format tracker del range. Okay. Oh, fuck. Anywhere where we adjust the end, we need to make sure that we're not... There's a sentinel value in here that we need to track. So if info.end is not equal to usize max, we have to do this everywhere. Because that's like a sentinel value to say like this format will extend for the end to the end of time, and we don't want to change that into it's going to extend till almost the end of the time because that will fuck stuff up. And I guess we have to do the same check over here. All right. All right. Okay, so let's maybe set up some tags to play with. How do I just like inject these guys? Let format tracker is equal to format tracker new. Can we like push range? And we can push a range that is at a specific... Oh, the cursor is like the state we're pushing. So we say let cursor is equal to cursor state. Does he have a new? I don't know if he does. No, he's just a dummy. He's a little dumb guy. And we can say pause equal to cursor. This doesn't matter because I know that he is not used in the rest. But this stuff is bold, false, color, terminal, color, default. Okay. So let's say that we have this cursor, and we're going to push in at like 0 to 10. He's going to be blue. Okay. Then cursor color is equal to terminal color red, right? Easy. And we push in a range of 10 to 20. Okay. So now, if we delete a range of like, 3 to 5, well, let's do like a border test. So 0 to 2. We should say that all of our format tracker tags, this should be the same as, this is square brackets, and we have one format tag for blue. And he has start 0, end, we deleted 2 bytes, so it should be 8. And he should be blue. And bold should be false. Okay. And then we have a new section that should now, these go from 10 to 20, but we deleted 2 characters, so it should go from 8 to 18 now. And he should be, this should be, blue is not valid here. Terminal color blue. This should be terminal color red. And then at the end, we have something that's like from this to the end of time, just like default. So this is like 18 usize max. And he's default. Like this. Cargo test. Let's just check if that runs. He failed because the assertion that the ranges do not overlap failed. Okay, so we fucked something up here. So we checked if it starts overlapping, ends overlapping, if it's fully contains. Oh, and then there's the other one that it is fully contained. Probably. We can say if range, so if the info range, else if range fully contains, but the other way, info range fully contains the deletion range, the start is unchanged, right? This is like our range is this, and we deleted these things in front. So the end has to get shrunk down by the deletion range. Info.end minus equals del size. If info end is not equal to usize max. Okay. And this is Conatins, because I misspelled it once upon a time. Cargo test. Maybe that assertion won't fail anymore. Okay, but now we have something that's not correct. So this is going 0 to 8. This is ending up 0 to 18, which is a bug for sure. So red is ending up as 0 to 18. Why the fuck is that happening? So when we delete this, I wonder if these like range start overlapping only work if ranges overlap. If ranges overlap, we might have to, like, those might not be like quick rect. So we can say if ranges overlap, range clone, info range clone. Okay. Then we do this stuff. And then we need to do else here. Do something. We maybe like assert unhandled overlap. But this is not assert, this is panic. What's it complaining about? Expected to block. We have an if. Ranges. Oh, we didn't close this bracket. Okay, there we go. There we go. So that first case worked. So now we can try doing something a little crazier. We can try deleting something that is kind of in the center of a range. So we can look at like, 2 to 4. And that should do something similar, except This guy, this is a deletion of 2 again, so this will come down to 6, this will come down to 6, this will come down to 16, and this will come down to 16 as well. Okay. Great, we're chilling. We delete a new range where... So we've done fully enclosed at the edge. Maybe we also test like deleting up to the end on the right side, 4 to 6. What's your opinion on Wes term? Don't know what it is. I am going in totally blind to this, which is bad in some ways, good in others. Right? Like, yeah, I haven't looked at it. Because part of the fun is not knowing what the fuck is happening. Terminal emulator and multiplexer, written by Wes, implemented in Rust. Is there anything like special about it? Features, searchable scrollback, xterm style, selection of text, hyperlinks, ligatures, multiplex. This looks very similar to what I want. Like if I were to like imagine where my thing is going to end up, it looks a lot like this feature list. So my opinion is probably that it's good. But I've never tried it. Okay, and then let's just test a boundary condition here. So one where we delete over a range. So here, if we delete from like 3 to 7, maybe 2 to 7, this tag should be adjusted. So the first one now ends at 2, and this guy starts at 2. But instead of being 10 long now, it was 4 to 7 is 3 off, so it should end at 11, and this should start 11. Which I got wrong. It's 2 to 9. Did I count wrong? So we were 4 to 14. 2 to 7 is, 5 long range. Oops, so this should be, yeah, deleting to, this makes sense. So this was 10 long, and now it is 7 long. And I deleted 3 bytes from it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That sounds right. Pretty sure. It'll become pretty clear when we do a little test in the terminal that this is right, if this is right or wrong. Okay, so theoretically everything just works now. And we can try running the terminal, and we can try deleting some characters and just seeing what happens. So we can say, could you please be bigger? Thank you. Let's type clear so that we don't have this like fucked up state. And we can say something like echo -e, let's say ASDF, and then maybe we put in a color. So we can say like escape, open brace, 1M, and ASDF. That's bold. Is it 31? Yes. And then we need to reset the colors, which is not working. That seems like a bug. This is... Oh, no, it is. Okay, cool. We're chilling. Okay, so now we want to try moving the cursor back 4, 5, 6 back, which I think is D, and then write ASDF again. Oops. Extra quote in here. No. Maybe C is back? No. Escape. Move cursor back. ANSI, move cursor back. D. Yeah, so it's escape, thing, D. Move it back 5D. Does that not work? Do we not support that right now? We might not support that, which would be surprising to me. Unhandled CSI code D. How have we been doing this before? I guess we've been issuing backspaces. So we... Hold on. Yeah, he's been sending... He's been sending backspace character instead. Okay. So can we go back to this thing? And instead of going back by some amount of characters, we can... This font size is not rendering the cursor correctly, which is annoying. Okay, there we go. So here we need to go back by issuing a 8. Is that how you do this? How do I send like, oh, it's \B. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5, 6. So now I'm inserting an A back there. And now I want to say, okay, let's try deleting 4 characters. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So I wrote ASDF, ASDF, which you can't really see here because it's like fucked up. But we definitely are, we have ASDF, ASDF, then we chop out the middle 4 characters and the colors are still being tracked correctly, which is like a really good sign. And if we did something like, 20, it doesn't do anything crazy. So I think we're chilling. I think we are chilling. And so then I guess we just have to say in our term info, we need to support that thing. So that is, I already forgot what it was called. DCH. ABC DCH is equal to, and I think that we can just copy paste the same thing xterm does. Escape code, open bracket, parameter 1, pop it off, and then a P. Sick. Sick, sick, sick. Cargo run. And we can go back to our little test script that we wrote a while ago that should print out what it sees. So it does, in fact, see this DCH code, which I think is probably correct. It's hard to tell when it's formatted this way. Can I do something like... I bet we can print this a little prettier. We can print this a little prettier. So instead of printing it as hex, we can say for character that we get, if val I is equal to 1b, we printf \E. Yes, yes, we printf \E. Else we printf just the character. Maybe that will look a little prettier. GCC-O test. No, he doesn't like that because I forgot to put brackets because I'm writing too much Rust. 1% DP. Okay, and then I cargo run test. Okay. That looks almost right, except I forgot to write 2 of these. I need to compile it. There we go. Okay, cargo run test. Okay. So we have, in fact, got the DCH escape code. That's way too big, man. 40. We do, in fact, have like an escape code that matches what we expected. That's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Okay. So we got through 3 of the like 25 of these. How many of these guys are left? 31. But we got somewhere. I think I'm pretty happy with that. The delete code was surprisingly difficult. But we did get there. So I think, yeah, we're at just before 2 hours. So I'm gonna call it there, I think. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, I stream most days at around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific time for around like 1 or 2 hours. Right now we're working on this terminal emulator. We've covered a bunch of shit, like we've done like some like AI, some operating systems, some like web dev, some 3D, you know, kind of trying to hit like whatever I feel like working on that day. That's what we work on. There's a YouTube link in the Twitch description where there's like playlists for each of the projects we're working on, as well as like new VODs going up. If you're watching on YouTube, you should check the Twitch link in the YouTube description and swing by and say hi. There's a GitHub link in the Twitch description as well if you want to see this code. It will probably, I think the code that we wrote today was actually like reasonably clean, so it'll probably go up pretty quick. But yeah, there's all the projects that we've been working on are out there as well if you want to take a look at the source code yourself. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!